Royal Day. We're gonna let the players play. Cosmic Mind UV. We coming through early. We're gonna get this knocked out, rocked out. That good M word versus Grand Rising. You know what I'm saying? What's the differences? We're gonna get in and out of here. I got another couple of shows coming up, so we're gonna get this knocked out. Who You With Wednesdays coming through tonight, more than likely. Y'all just stay tuned and just keep your notification for the near channel on. This time we just gonna go ahead on just start, and then I'll share it out afterwards. Good M word versus Grand Rising and their differences. Good M word, the origin and use. Standard English greeting used globally. Common in schools, workplaces, media, and daily interactions. Meaning simply wishes someone well at the start of the day. Quote unquote morning comes from Old English morgen or morgen, morgen, tied to the start of the day after. Vibes and connotation, neutral, polite, universal. Some critics say the word quote unquote morning, MOURN, etc., sounds like grief, which makes some people wary of its vibration, though this is more a modern reinterpretation than historical fact. Yeah, that's because people got smarter and we started to learn this bastard ass language and spelling and spells and shit. Cultural influence tied to mainstream Western language and culture, tied to Western language and culture. So that means you speaking that Eurocentric shit. Seen as the quote unquote default in quote polite way to greet. Grand Rising, origin, use, popularized in conscious, spiritual, and Afrocentric communities. Gained momentum in the 2000s to the present through holistic wellness and new age spaces. Meaning suggests not just waking up. You know, awake is at a funeral. That's awake. Waking up, or you supposed to be rising up. However, rising to your highest self. Rising to your highest self, spiritually and energetically. So all y'all funny motherfuckers, when somebody say Grand Rising, and yeah, you might have funny motherfuckers that adopt shit. I mean, that's what happens, unfortunately. You know what I mean? Grand, quote unquote, equals greatness, abundance, elevation. Let's say that again. Grand, the word grand by itself means greatness, abundance, elevation. Rising means awakening, standing tall, stepping into your purpose. That's why I say royal risings. We royal and we rising. We ain't doing no fucking morning. We ain't doing none of that bullshit y'all be talking about. That's why they call it spelling, you know what I mean? Because it spells, you know what I mean, in your language, in your ing, vibes, connotation, empowering, uplifting, affirmational. That's Grand Rising. Holds a deeper meaning beyond just time of day. Holds a deeper meaning other than just time of day. It's about spiritual alignment. So I say the royal rising. So do your own version. Cultural influence embraced by people seeking alternatives to what? Eurocentric or quote unquote default language. If you're gonna unlearn and relearn, you may as well relearn the language and unlearn the language that you motherfucking, more than likely, people call quote unquote oppressors or whatever gave your ass and forced on you. Connected to conscious living, positive vibrations, and black liberation language in some circles. Key differences, aspect, meaning. Good M word means basic time of day greeting. Grand Rising's affirmation of greatness, spiritual awakening. Tone, neutral, that good M word, neutral, polite, everyday. Grand Rising, empowering, intentional, uplifting. Culture, good M word, standard English, global use. Grand Rising, conscious / spiritual, Afrocentric, and new age. That means what? It's the new age or something coming in. Vibration, good M word, functional, habitual. That means you need to break those habits. Grand Rising, affirmational and motivational. Depth, good M word. Surface level, that means it's keeping your goofy ass on the surface level. Time marker, that means you still in time and not in energy. Grand rising, deeper energy, mindset, and purpose. See, y'all got to elevate out of the elementary talk and this European talk. That's a lot of y'all problem. You got Europeans on your brain, um, and what they forced on your ancestors that y'all be talking so much about. Takeaway: saying "quote unquote" good morning is a neutral, polite. It works everywhere. Saying "grand rising" quote unquote is intentional, spiritual, and affirmational. It shifts the tone from just acknowledging time to acknowledging energy, purpose, and greatness. Shift the fucking goddamn it talking. See, a lot of y'all ain't disciplined enough in this spiritual walk to shift everything about yourself, the way you talk, the way you speak, the way you carry yourself, what you eat, and all that other shit. That's really okay. Some people within conscious and Afrocentric communities have raised concerns about the phrase "good M word" and its possible connections to slavery or oppression. Here's the bust down historical context: M word versus mourning, or the other morning, whatever. All of it sounds just like, you know what I mean. Logistically, linguistically, the word mean more. The M word from Old English, Morgan or whatever, is often originally connected to mourning, grief. You hear that? The word M word, that M word, mourning. The Old English is originally connected to the word grief. They are homophones sound sound alike, have different roots. However, during slavery, enslaved Africans were forced to use the language of their enslavers. Words that sounded like grief, mourning, resonated differently for a people who lived through daily trauma, death, and sorrow. While some tie good M word to slavery, linguistically, trauma, enslaved Africans were stripped of their original languages and forced to use English greetings, including good morning. So there you go. For a people experiencing daily loss, hearing, saying something uh, phonically close to mourning could reinforce grief and sadness. Psychological programming. Many spiritual thinkers argue that the word good M word subconsciously affirms sadness, grief, everyday good M word, end quote, especially given the centuries of pain under slavery. In this view, the phrase carries a hidden vibration of sorrow, even if not intended. Control of language. Language is power. During slavery, enslaved Africans could not openly use affirming greetings in their native tongues. All right. Good M word was part of the enforced assimilation into Eurocentric culture. God damn it! Rather than an empowering affirmation, while Grand Rising emerged to break away from phrases that may carry historical and vibrational baggage from slavery, to reclaim power over language, affirm life, and set the tone for the day with positivity. It emphasizes rising into greatness rather than simply acknowledging a time of day. Conclusion: while good M word wasn't invented during slavery and doesn't etymologically, yeah, etymologically mean good grief or whatever, its forced usage under slavery and its phonic link to quote unquote mourning have led some to reject it. Grand Rising became an alternative rooted in empowerment, liberation, and self determination. Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, black people want to affirm, reclaim transformation through language. If black people continue to use the word good N word, prose, university, or understood, not overstood, and accept in workplaces, schools, etc., no need to explain or translate, not originally created as a tool of oppression, etc. Cons, historically tied to assimilation during slavery. Phonetic, tied to quote unquote mourning, can subconsciously affirm grief or negativity. Lack spiritual or empowering energy. If black people shift to grand rising, prose reclaiming language power, spiritually affirming, focuses on growth, abundance, and greatness, builds cultural identity, creates a shared consciousness and unique greeting within the black communities. All right. Cons not universally recognized. Who cares? Could be dismissed as new age. Who cares? Might not fit every context. Who the fuck cares? That's the great thing, being different. You hear me? Being different in the good way. You hear me? In the righteous way, the positive way, in a meaningful way. Balance takeaway. Both have place. The good N word can still be used, but y'all gonna still use, language keeping you under spells. We already know that. Grand rising can be embraced as cultural or royal rising, spiritual and empowering greeting within black communities. Key point: the power is in intention. If you say good N word with love, strength, and positivity, that's what you're transmitting. So we'll see. Um, if you are saying grand rising, you're affirming a higher vibration and conscious identity. Black people should use grand rising more often, especially among each other. Black people should use grand rising more often, especially among each other, as a way to reclaim language, affirming greatness, and create cultural unity. However, it doesn't replace, yes, it does. It should replace the N word entirely. It should. It should replace the N word entirely. All right, y'all. Hopefully, this was a cool show. Hopefully, you got something out of this. Hopefully, you start changing your language. Hopefully, you start. That's why they call it spelling, because the spells, you hear me? It spells, the negative spells we put on ourselves, whether it's consciously or unconsciously. So, this was a short show. Cosmic Mind UV. Who you with coming up? Who you with Wednesdays coming up? We're going to do a makeup show. Empress Star, take you farther out of where you are. Next Moon Day, Empress Star has Sacred Space coming up. Other than that, man, we got another show coming up. The shortage of men in the world, man. You know what I'm saying? Y'all don't want to practice poly, but there is a shortage of men worldwide. Worldwide. But anyway, outside of that, Cosmic Mind UV and Royal Rising.